All right, and we're back here at our KSMO Radio Studios. We got our last group of kiddos from the FFA group here on FFA Day at KSMO Radio. Mr. Bob Parsons, former FFA advisor, is going to be interviewing this great bunch of students that we have here today. Mr. Bob, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Ben, thank you very much. We're back for the 6th, but on the internet now, if anybody wants to go back and watch these sessions again, this will be called the number 7 session because that way it matches up with the class periods that the kids have at Salem FFA School. We welcome everyone to the 7th session of FFA Day on KSMO for 2026 here on the 27th day of January. I have 5 young men with me. They're a great group to wind up with today, and they're going to do an excellent job, I assure you. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, tell what grade they are in school, maybe tell a little bit about their family if they'd like. That's up to them. And you can start wherever you want to start. The middle, the left, the right, doesn't matter.
I'm Tyson Connors. I'm a junior in high school. My dad is Michael Connors. My mom is Tila Dillon.
My name is Levi Pogue. I'm in 10th grade. My parents are Jeff and Kim Pogue. My name is Connor Hedrick. I'm a sophomore at Salem High School. My dad is Justin Hedrick, and my mom is Summer Warwick.
My name is John Cunningham. I'm a sophomore at Salem High School, and my parents are Ted and Ashley Cunningham.
My name is Jackson Harris. I'm a sophomore at Salem High School. My dads are Mitchell and Kathy Harris.
All right, that gives you an idea of who this group is, some basics about them. I'll start out with the question I've started, second question that for every group today, and that is, why did you decide to enroll ag education? What did you base that decision on? Why? It doesn't matter where we start or who starts.
Well, I never really grew up on a farm. I could really get and take care of cattle and stuff. But, you know, we had some land, and we let our neighbor Brad, he used his cattle and ran on our land. I owned on his property, and I just always liked being around that stuff. So I just thought it'd be a cool idea to join ag.
Okay. Always been around ag my whole life. Working the cows with my dad, my grandpa, and my brother. Dad did in high school. So dad, I've always looked up to my dad, so I wanted to do it.
Cool reasons.
Yeah. Mine's pretty much the same reason. I've grown up around this line of work, and I just loved agriculture ever since I was a young kid. And my grandpa was an FFA, my dad was an FFA, brother's an FFA, and so I figured I'd continue it on.
Yeah, just the same as Connor. I was very fortunate to grow up around agriculture and on a farm, and of course that's just kind of ingrained in my blood nowadays. And just I love agriculture. I love advocating for agriculture, and the leadership and the experiences and the friends that come out of FFA. Just you can't get it anywhere else.
Good points, and keep that word advocate in mind.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go back to that soon so we don't forget.
Like they said before, I grew up on agriculture my whole life. Both parents and grandparents worked on their farms ever since I can remember. So I just thought to continue that into high school and learn some things I didn't know previously.
Okay.
And it's been fun.
Great. Good reasons. Everybody's got a reason why they do or don't, and those are all good reasons. As you come through your ag and FFA career to this point, what's been some of your favorite activities either in the ag program itself or in the FFA chapter? It's up to you. Anybody can start.
I'll start off. For my CDE, both my freshman and sophomore year, we've Connor, myself, and a group of other buddies, we have done the agronomy CDE, and that's basically just identifying plants and seeds, but that are native and are very commonly found in this part of the world, and getting to use that in the classroom and in the competition, then taking it back to the field, to the farm. That's pretty cool, and understanding all the aspects that go into that.
And that is an important point you make, John, in that the goal is always to be able to take what we learn in the classroom and apply it outside the classroom. Now, granted, every student in ag education is not going to grow crops, have to worry about identifying weeds, but at the same time, to have a little bit of knowledge there may help somebody make that career decision too down the road. But matches up with an interest that they started in ag education at FFA. All right, someone else.
Yeah, kind of going off what John said, I'm also, as he said, I'm a part of that agronomy team where I didn't necessarily push for agronomy. It has been fun these past 2 years, but I more enjoy the public speaking aspect of it. I did creed speaking my freshman year. I did a cattleman speech this fall, and I'm going to do a Division II speaking upcoming this spring. But I'd say that's probably my favorite thing that I've done in FFA as I started.
Okay, and you've had some success at it too, and congratulations on being the state winner in the Missouri Cattlemen's speech contest.
I think one of my favorite things about FFA is meeting all the people that you go, not just from your school, but from other schools, and make good buddies from there. I think actually yesterday, probably one of my favorite trips I ever went on was at the GAR trip. I've never been, Dad's been telling me about it all the time, so it's pretty cool to go and learn some stuff I didn't know.
Yeah, that is a big plus about being an ag education FFA. Okay.
One of our first ag construction projects, making these little rocket stoves that you put wood in. That's probably one of my favorite. Just getting my hands dirty, be able to build something and then later take it home to use outside of the school is quite fun. I enjoyed that.
Yep. And you develop some skills while you're at it. And that's another aspect of what our goals are in ag education FFA, to develop skills.
Yeah, like you said, skills. I mean, I do very minimal, really. I mean, I've been on a few trips and stuff, but welding and stuff, I think it's a cool skill, and I'm not very good at it yet, but still continuing to learn and interested in that stuff. And it just shows me FFA's got so many opportunities that you can do whatever you want in the ag field. So
it does, all the way from that shop work to seeds and plants to judging dairy products to some of the earlier group was talking about was it food service or something close to that they competed in, which is a relatively new contest, and we're explaining how that works. So just such a variety. It's amazing what's available to you today. And you go back, okay, when your grandpa was an ag, now you guys have about, with the CDs and LDs together, you got something in the neighborhood of 25 or so different things that you can be involved in.
Yeah.
And when your grandpa was an ag, there might have been 12. And they were pretty well the basic old judging livestock, judging dairy cattle, judging dairy foods, and ag mechanics. We had field crops and soils. They were configured a little differently than how you all do them today. But, it's just the number of possibilities have flourished for you all. And I hope that you and your classmates appreciate that expansion of the possibilities you've got. All right, anything else come to mind after you made some comments about your favorites? I think everybody got to do that. Did you, John?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've done this now 6 times a day, and sometimes my memory doesn't. And what? Didn't work very well beforehand, so just bear with me.
You betcha.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your stamp of approval. Guys, what have you found to be the most challenging part of being an ag education and/or FFA?
Well, I'll start us off. That is for sure public speaking. I struggle with it, but I like to challenge myself with getting up and giving a speech and being able to talk publicly, which is a very valuable trait to have, especially in the years to come. I know it's going to prove to be worthy one of these days, but I just got to keep after it. But that is the biggest challenge I've found.
Well, we're back again to that word you used earlier of being an advocate for agriculture. I mean, if we don't speak for ourselves in agriculture, who's going to speak for us? It's definitely not going to help happen out of some inner city person unless they get out and get a taste of agriculture and it lights a fire into them. And that does happen because agriculture education in Missouri has expanded where now we do have programs in the inner city of St. Louis. And there may be somebody there that all of a sudden says, what is this world about agriculture? What's it like? I want to be more involved in that, and it may light a fire right there. Okay, Other challenges, anybody?
You know, there's some of them contests that I'm not necessarily familiar with that have been challenged. Like starting off agronomy, I've never cared about plants. I mean, just being honest, I know this from that. I know good from bad, but I've never tried to get into the nitty gritty of, you know, what is this plant and how much of a benefit is it. But, you know, there's a lot of those that's, you just have to learn them, and they're very useful to have, like judging livestock. You know, is this cow better than another cow? Just those things right there, just, they've been a challenge for me that I've needed to overcome, and FFA's helped me accomplish that.
And, you know, competing in an area that you're not familiar with is very similar to trying to teach an area that you're not familiar with. I know I had that personal experience with the subject matter of electricity. Really had some basic knowledge, but didn't know anything in depth. And then to have to teach it, you start having to really develop an in-depth knowledge of it. So that's another good one. Okay, what else?
I'd say probably one of mine is probably the record books. I know it's a little wild to say, but I'd say trying to keep track of everything. So I helped my brother do that. So trying to keep track of what feed we bought, what equipment we bought, and what cows we sold and what cows we bought. So I think that's sometimes tough for me to do, and then trying to learn it by myself. But Miss J and Mr. Sanders do a great job at helping us with that.
They do. And I'll just share a little background with you so maybe you'll appreciate that, how much easier it is than it used to be. Years ago, we had a record book, your dad, your grandpa in particular, but even, I'm not even sure we went to the electronic records when your dad was in ag, but we had a record book that actually, when you laid it on the table, stretched this long, and it was in this format, this direction. And everything had to go in that record book, and you had to go to different sections of it. There was a receipts section for your income, and there was an expense section for your expenditures, and then inventories and financial statements. All those things that as an adult you're going to have to do. You know, you're going to have, it's tax season.
Yeah.
What are you going to have to prepare taxes? Records.
Receipts.
Yeah. Record of your receipts, what you've spent, what you bought, what you sold, the whole 9 yards. So, yeah, record keeping can be difficult, but appreciate the electronics that you have available to you now, and the job that, again, complimenting your ag teachers on your training that they provided for you.
I think it's made me feel, be more organized than I used was doing my record book, so I do appreciate the teaching of that.
You're the second person today that's commented that keeping records has added to your organization skills, and so I that must be and that's an important point. Sure is. Okay, anything else in terms of challenges that anybody wants to share? That same or different, doesn't matter.
For me, it was trying new things, like during ag shop projects. I remember one was the angle grinder. I didn't know how to really use it. Never used it before. So overcoming that fear, just trying out new things, not knowing how to do something. I came into ag knowing, okay, I know how to do this. I've done it for my whole life up to this point. So this is going to be easy. No, not so much. There's new things I never knew I was supposed to have to do in the class.
Right.
It's taught me those things are fine. There's nothing to be afraid.
Yeah, they're just a little experience, and then learning the right. Don't learn the wrong way is the wrong way. I've seen some of those happen. Shirts ripped off the boys with right angle grinders, all some of the things. Yeah,
Scary.
yeah. There's a scary potential there. I don't know whether you have any of the big right angle grinders anymore, but we used to have a couple of big ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they weighed about, I'd say they weighed right at 15, 16 pounds a piece. Like these little single-handed ones.
Yeah.
And I saw one of those one time run across the shop where he caught in a groove between a fender and the upright part of a trailer. Somebody was working on that, caught in that groove, and it spun right across the shop floor. Amazing things that those tools can do when they're not used properly. All right, that's some of the difficulties. Now, we've already dealt with this next one a little bit, so we'll pursue it a little bit more, and that's the career development events and the LDEs, the leadership development events. I know Connor mentioned the fact that it's doing field crops again. Is that still the name for it, field crops? No,
No, it's agronomy.
agronomy. Now, see, when I was teaching, that was field crop. Now, it was seed and plant ID, just like you described. We also judged seed plates where we had to identify different weed seeds were in them, had to be able to categorize those. And I would say basically what we did, we kind of transitioned what was the field crops over to call it agronomy.
Mm-hmm.
And soils is kind of the same way. It's kind of changed, even though we still call that particular area soils. Are there other career development events, other contest teams that some of you are involved in?
I'm doing livestock judging.
Okay, good. It's a toughie.
It is a tough one.
Mhm.
It really is, because the competition's so close.
Yes.
You get out of the chapter and you start going to area and district. Yeah, it's a tough competition. It's hard to develop a good livestock team. Your coach, which is what they are, your ag teacher, as they coach you, has got to be really good at it to for you to be successful at it. Well, let's switch over unless there's something else on career development events somebody's got to add. Let's switch over to talking about your SAEs in detail. What do you have for your supervised agriculture experience? What you keep records on?
Well, personally, I've got a few different, so I've got a few different placement SAEs. I'll work for different people around town, but my main one is I own and run a cow calf operation. So I've got a current herd of about 18 cows, and
That didn't happen overnight, did it?
I've been growing it for about 4 years now.
Yeah. And you started about the right time.
Yeah, just before. You're right, just before. Yeah. Mine's about the same as Connor's. Run a cow calf operation. And then I started about 3 years ago, like little right after Connor started his. I really enjoy it. I probably have about around 5 to 10 calves that I run, and then my brother has a bigger herd that I help him with.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I have two. My regular one's a placement. I work at our local McDonald's as the grill. I work on the grill. My second one, I sell specified 3D print tools or products, whatever. I make parts for guns. I make whatever you want, basically.
Oh, really? That's interesting stuff. You good. Something a little different than everybody else. Okay?
Yeah.
What else we got?
I've got a couple different parts to my SAE. The first part that I guess has kind of carried me through the winter, just cutting and selling firewood to local peoples and everything in between that firewood can be used for. But along with that, I do run a couple head of mama cows. But my big piece is placement, working for my father, and in the summertime working for a couple different people. But that keeps me as busy as I can be. So.
So if you go by Meadows Art Vet Clinic and you see a trailer sitting out there with firewood on it, you can figure John had a hand in that, and you can contact him about purchasing the contents of the trailer.
That's me.
All right.
Yeah, during the summer I work construction with my grandpa and uncle at May Construction, and I play so many sports and stuff during the school year. That whatever money I make in the summer, I give it over all winter
Mhm.
last, and I'll buy and sell like 4-wheelers and dirt bikes, and just work on them and rebuild them, stuff like that.
You know, Connor's kind of led me towards asking a question about something that we talked with some of the groups about today, and that is active people, particularly those that are active both in sports and want to be active in ag and FFA. How do you handle how do you juggle things?
I don't know, I just kind of wing it, I guess. Just go in there, go where I'm supposed to go, do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
With me, I'm in choir as well as the ag program. Sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes they do merge, and we have events that have the same on the same day.
Sure.
What was the Veterans Day? I think it was this week. Not this week. Veterans Day this year. Our chamber choir, we sang for
Mhm.
the national anthem for them. That was one instance of the two events coming together. But other than that, it's just you have to balance it, I guess.
And that's a skill that at your stage in life that you need to develop, because it's going to continue. That doesn't change. You always, you're not going to graduate from high school and go sit on a log someplace and do nothing else. You're going to have things going on in your life, and you have to figure out how to balance all those. So that's something that's really important that you learn during your time in ag education. I haven't been checking things off, so I got to make sure here. Oh, okay. I know some of this group have been to state or national convention. You want to share something about those activities?
For me, it's a great part of my year. It's one of the things that I look forward to. Last year, I was fortunate enough to go to both. I was able to go to national and state convention. This year, we haven't had state convention yet, but I was able to go to national convention, and it's a great experience. I mean, if you're in FFA, I suggest you go at least once, because you meet so many new people and you experience so many different things that it is just a surreal experience that is a very, very good time.
It is. It's just phenomenal. And of course, some of the groups today that's brought up at the National Convention, I said, well, I hope you get an opportunity sometime to go to the National Convention in Louisville. I think it's much more superior to the one in Indianapolis because you're inside the whole time, all under one roof. You get there every morning, you're there all day, you leave, and you're done with convention for the rest of the day. Whereas in Indianapolis, you got to spend some time on the streets, walking from one venue to another, and it's just the difference in circumstances. But then if you go to Indianapolis, you at least are in the same site where the national headquarters are for FFA, so that is kind of neat to have that opportunity. Let's move into talking about future plans, considering where we're at on the clock, because we're getting close to our wind down time. What's your future plans? You can talk about future plans in ag, FFA, or even go to the extent of after high school. That's up to you. Whoever wants to start with your future plans.
Yeah, future plans might look like for me is for sure finishing up high school in the FFA and going and doing as many speeches and competitions as I can. Hopefully attending some more conventions. And after that, I probably will wind up still along with the FFA for my up until 21 if I can, and maybe try and run for an area and state office. There's obviously no guarantee in that, but do that, then find myself in college somewhere.
But you got to be prepared for those.
Got to be
things, and
prepared.
that's how
That
you
is
work
absolutely
towards the
correct.
possibilities of state or national is preparation. Okay,
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what John said, it's kind of the same thing. I'm going to continue to be an FFA, and I'm going to continue to try and further myself in the, positions that I'm in. I'm going to continue to public speak, and I'm going to continue to grow myself to the best of my ability. I wasn't really set on going to college here come this time last year, but as you get to the public speaking aspect, and it's kind of opened my eyes, there may be greater opportunities out there, and I might need to go to college. So I've thought about it a little bit, but after that, I just plan on coming home, working on the farm, just running a bunch of cows.
Enjoy life for sure. So, well, as you go along, it's suddenly something. Hey, where am I headed? Maybe I do need a college education. Maybe not in exactly the area where you think it might be. It might be in another direction, and then even change from there. These things happen as we go through life. Okay, others of you, your plans.
Yes, my plan is to finish out FFA. Like John said, go to many contests I can go to. Maybe go to state convention. I would like, and then after high school, after I graduate high school, I want to go to MWI. I'll become a traveling welder. I'm gonna do their 18-week program. Still run my cattle. That's the plan.
Okay, you got a plan. That's important.
I wanna next year, my junior year, I wanna go to Raleigh Technical Institute and get trained in architectural design on computers. Do that. And then later on, I want to go to State Tech to get further trained in that field and use those skills I learned in agriculture and Raleigh Technical Institute to get a job and start living life.
State Tech, I have great respect for it. I think it's a great institute. such an offering students have available to them. All right, we're done.
Honestly, I don't. I plan on continuing a FFA and ag in high school. But past high school, I really career-wise, the main thing for like my goal in life is I'd like to follow the Lord, and I want to grow a family in the Lord. And I know it's going to take. I want to make enough money where my wife didn't have to work if she don't want to, and it's just been. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do yet.
You'll get led where you're supposed to go, Tyson.
Yeah.
Trust you will. So you've got direction.
Yeah.
These guys all do, and I do appreciate them very much. They've done an excellent job. In fact, they run us right down where we're nearly out of time. So we do have some of our sponsors for today that we definitely want to give some special attention to. These are just a few of the around 25, 30 or so that have sponsored us today, and we appreciate it. Connor's agreed to read off the list for us.
Roberts and Judson's Lumber Company, Southside Kitchen, Twisted H Design, Daryl and Marianne Skiles, Brian W. Boutique, Looking Glass Salon, KSMO Media, Your World Today, and Town Screen LLC.
All right, again, our thanks to these guys and thanks to all these sponsors that have made today FFA Day on KSMO possible. I'll send the mic back to Ben. Ben, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And that concludes FFA Day today here at KSMO Radio, 1340 AM, 95.7 FM. We got a whole lot of great music coming up for you here on your hometown radio station. Starting things off here, we'll have a bit of a commercial break. We'll give you some weather, and then let's see what we got. We've got the Little River Band with Lady coming up right after this.